Hello. Ever been stuck in a traffic jam? You might even be in one now. When the 5 o'clock rush hour's decided by popular demand to start at 3:30, and the only place you want to be is somewhere else, preferably a little nearer to your next appointment, which incidentally also started at 3:30. Now, as you sit there, gently steaming from the ears, having moved all of 3 feet after the last change of traffic lights, your shirt sticky backing you to the seat, or your windscreen wipers on overdrive, you get a pretty good idea how it feels to be middle-aged, even if you're an ambitious 26-year-old. Then, this chauffeur-driven limo, only slightly smaller than the showroom it came out of, purrs up alongside you. Now, in this situation, don't you always say to yourself, don't look to see who's in the back? Because you know it's not going to help, but you always do. And yes, there he is. The cool, sophisticated, unruffled MD, straight out of Central Casting, and just to rub it in, he's using the car telephone. There he sits, with his feet resting on the cocktail cabinet and his finger on the pulse of his vast empire. I mean, this guy could be sailing up the M1 for all he knows. He's certainly not in your humdrum little traffic clog-up. And what's he saying on that car telephone? Who's he talking to? Well, anything less than sell the Miami Hotel or buy copper or get me Brussels would be a bit of a letdown. So let's keep the illusion as he sweeps away. Why is he always in the faster lane as well? Anyway, compare that with your own mobile communication system. It's probably the telephone box, which, even supposing you could leave your car to get out to get to it, is really just another form of legalized gambling. If it isn't out of order, it's bound to have a long-distance queue outside with everybody rattling at least £2 in silver. Well, after all that heartache, let's get out of the traffic jam, because it's time Aircall exploded a few myths about the car telephone. They're the people who are paying for this commercial, by the way. Well, first myth, that it's just an expensive toy. And second, that even when you've decided to get one, there's always at least a 2-year waiting list. Well, as they say on the money program, let's look at a few figures. Somebody's taken the trouble to work out that if a £10,000 a year executive loses just a half an hour needlessly each day during a busy period, that costs the company £5 every time. And before you all rush for your calculators, that works out around 1,140 quid a year. They've also worked out that if the Aircall system was installed in a fleet of 1,600cc cars, a saving of just 5.76 miles per car per day would also more than cover the cost of the service. And just to steam your windscreens up with another proven fact, it's been estimated that last year, British industry as a whole could have saved a staggering £200 million by using Aircall mobile communications. And what about that 2-year waiting list? Well, with Aircall, it's more like 3 weeks, and that's a promise. So, in just 3 weeks, you could be linked up with the Aircall national network 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Wherever you are, your code name gets an immediate response, followed by fast, efficient action. Now, come on. Couldn't you just see yourself as Alpha George or Echo 1 Charlie, and instead of bandits at 5 o'clock, it's that appointment at 3:30? Oh, it's been cancelled, by the way. But with Aircall around to inform you of that minor detail, you can save yourself a wasted journey and head back to base. Or get your Aircall secretary to reschedule your diary for the afternoon by phoning ahead to your other appointments. And if they can't see you earlier, she'll ring back and tell you. I used the word secretary. I could have said your secretary on the dashboard. But that sounds a bit male chauvinist, not to say painful. Anyway, that is just about what your Aircall operator is, because wherever you are, that's where your office is, with your secretary sitting beside you. Just think of all the things she can do for you as you're speeding up the motorway. She can connect you with anyone on the public telephone network nationally or even internationally, outgoing or incoming, just like in the office. And they'll hardly know that at that moment you're on your way to the head office at Hemel Hempstead, a sales conference in Nottingham, or the new factory in Leeds. Who says you can't be in two places at once? And if the worst traffic conditions in Britain that day just happen to be in either Hemel Hempstead, Nottingham or Leeds, Aircall will give you the latest traffic report quicker than it takes the local radio station to say, "Have a nice day now." And maybe Aircall will advise you on a better route to take as well. Similarly, if it's your car's turn to have a nervous breakdown, your nearest AA or RAC rescue point is right beside you, and not that 2-mile jogging session in either direction when the rain is the only thing that's driving. And the other great thing about Aircall is if there's someone on the line you don't want to speak to, your Aircall secretary can say you're out because all calls have to come through her. And doesn't that remind you of the office too? But if you really have been out, answering a different sort of call, for instance, a flashing light tells you to ring in when you've returned to your car. And if it's a message to say there's been the usual mix-up with your hotel booking, Aircall can simply book you in somewhere else. Now, isn't it nice to know you've avoided all that unnecessary bad language in the hotel lobby at the end of a tiring day? And that's only the receptionist. So enjoy yourself. Cancel that table at Bernard Manning's nightclub and go and see a show instead. Get everyone round for a rep's night out, or book a candlelit dinner for you and that lady demonstrator you met at the heavy earth-moving exhibition last year. And by the time you arrive, Aircall will have arranged everything. Oh, excuse me. It's my car telephone. Hello, this is Alpha Dennis speaking. Who? Yeah. Right. Okay, I'll tell them. It was Aircall for you. They say if you want to take their car telephone service out for a test drive, it can be arranged in a day, fitted soon after, and operated at an all-inclusive charge with absolutely no hidden extras, irrespective of how many calls you make or how often you call on all the other Aircall services. So give Aircall a ring on 834-9000. That's an easy one to remember, isn't it? 834-9000, and the lady to ask for is Penny Mitchell. And listen, if people look on enviously when they see you on the phone at traffic lights, let them go on thinking it's expensive. Just quietly wind down the window and say, "Get me Brussels," just for the hell of it. It's no more than they expect, so why disappoint them? And besides, you've been in that situation often enough, even if you are only phoning ahead to order a Chinese takeaway. Bye.